This is the Balancing Act by Security Compass, your guide to going fast while staying safe in today's digital world. Today we are joined by Altaz Valani from Security Compass and Bob Aiello, DevOps architect and trainer with decades of experience leading enterprise software process improvement initiatives. We will start by asking the question, why do so many organizations struggle with integrating security into DevOps? Since automation is a key part of DevOps, we will discuss security practices that are easily automatable in DevOps and conclude with a discussion on where DevOps is headed.
Hello, everybody, and welcome today to our podcast. Our guest is Bob Aiello. Bob, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Bob, just for the sake of introductions, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what you do?
I'm a CM, ALM, and DevOps architect, coach, trainer, and all-around geek.
Wonderful. And Bob has been on our podcast before and had some really great insights. So let's just dive right into this, Bob. When it comes to DevOps, why do so many organizations struggle with integrating security into DevOps?
It's such an interesting topic because I think in many ways it's a people issue more than a technology issue. We typically have in large organizations a security team that tries to keep us secure, but they come in at the last minute instead of building in security from the beginning. And it creates a very oppositional relationship because they don't know the technology. They often don't know the technology well, and they'll make suggestions that seem out of whack. Devs will oppose them tooth and nail because you're basically asking me to lock down my system so much that no one will be able to use it. And by the same token, the devs are not building security in from the beginning. So I think it's often kind of a true DevOps issue in that there's a mismatch between the security folks and the folks who are writing the code.
Yeah, it's interesting. It fundamentally comes down to communication. If we look at it from the security perspective, stuff that I've heard is, we've inherited a set of sort of applications and this infrastructure, and it's been kind of kludgy to try and put security in. How do we come in and gradually unravel this when we're moving so fast? And we don't understand what's going on at the application, at the code level. So therein lies some gap in the communication. I think it's interesting that you pointed that out. Let's go a little bit deeper then. When we look at DevOps, what security practices are easily automatable in DevOps? After all, we are in a world of DevOps where we're moving quickly and we don't want to leave security behind. So what do? What are these practices that we can automate?
We have a lot to work with now in DevOps, and inheriting from configuration management, we have our first capability is that of creating a secure baseline. So using cryptographic hashes such as MAC-SHA or MD5, we can create a very clear baseline of the exact bits that should be running in production, and we should be able to identify if that baseline is being tampered with, and then effectively have continuous delivery or continuous deployment procedures to self-heal. So I think DevOps gives us the automated build, package, and deploy, and using tools like JFrog Artifactory or Sonatype Nexus or any of the derived object repositories. It's easy to have a cryptographic approach to being completely certain that what you intended to deploy actually got to production, and then be able to automatically identify if it's tampered with. And of course, the end game is to be able to self-heal. So I think our continuous delivery pipeline gives us some very solid tools and techniques to have highly secure systems.
That's great. And if you project out into the future, Bob, looking at where DevOps came from, the whole aspect of cross-functional teams, agility, and now we're moving beyond just dev and ops, trying to incorporate even the business in some of the decisions that get made. In terms of your understanding, your perspective, what do you think the future holds when it's related to DevOps?
In honor of Edwards Deming, I'd like to get away from this silly term of DevSecOps. there seems to be this labeling of things that doesn't make a lot of sense. You cannot have DevOps without security, just like you can't have DevOps without having testable code, having reliable code. So we should just understand that the right way to develop all of these continuous features like testing, security, need to be built in from the very beginning. So I think we need to get away from labels like DevSecOps and really focus on the practices. We should be building our systems to be secure. As we're writing the code, we should be getting instant feedback as to whether or not our practices around coding are secure. We should be building our systems to be reliable. And, I often find that disaster recovery is a perfect example of where we don't ever test our procedures. We don't actually try to fail over and see if the whole system can come up. So we have to get to a place where we are building systems to be secure, we're building systems to have high quality, to be reliable. And I think with techniques like left shift, where we start to do things the right way sooner, we're getting to a place in DevOps where the continuous delivery pipeline helps facilitate high quality systems that are very reliable, secure, and you can really depend on them for even things like life support systems, which of course is really critical.
And that's interesting because now when we look at it, it's not just the aspect of speed, but as you talk about shifting to the left and bringing in some other concerns when it relates to safety, for example, now we're starting to enable the business through DevOps in terms of both speed and in terms of managing the risk appropriately as well. Bob, I just wanted to say thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you as always.
Can't get enough of the balancing act? Make sure to check out our website at www.securitycompass.com and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more episodes.